what we started out was about a year ago or so. We started with something called a brand differentiation research. And the purpose of the research is to find out what is it that we're known for, and what of those elements can we differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. So what makes us better, different, and special in our competitive set. So we know we are boilermakers, but what does that mean really? I kind of keep saying this. We all know we're Purdue. Everybody in this room, if I ask them to say, give me 3 words about Purdue, there will be at least a 100-word list that I would develop very easily. So it's like a Buddhist story that I know of. There are these 10 blind men, and they're all touching an elephant. And as the question is asked to them, what is an elephant like? The one who's touching the trunk thinks it's like a thick hide. Someone who's touching the tail thinks it's like a imbue. Someone who's touching the leg thinks it's like almost like a tree trunk. Someone who's touching the body thinks it's like a wall. All of it is true. None of it is untrue. But how do you get the complete picture? And some of our effort has been to sort of dig that complete picture that everybody gets, not just internal audiences, external too, and then base our marketing based on that. Not just a campaign, but base our strategy based on that, make our strategy based on that. So that's the intent with which. So we started out with the brand differentiation research. We built a strategy on it and did the creative. I'm not going to take you through all the details since I know I have 20 minutes of the research, but I'm going to go right to the end to tell you what the 3 main things that we discovered after speaking to. Speaking is kind of a relative term. We did focus groups in which we spoke, but there were surveys, etc., that we did. The 3 things that came out was that we have a very strong reputation for science, technology, engineering, and math. No surprise there. We all know that. But the thing is, that's not all. That is what we're known for internally as well as externally. By the way, the audiences that we researched with were current faculty, current students, both undergrad and grad. We spoke to alumni, prospective students who might have that. We just spoke to undergrad prospective students because it's very hard to get grad prospects. Undergrad have lists that we can access and do that very easily. Then we spoke to peer faculty, and so from all of that, what sort of bubbled up to the top was, like I said, our reputation in STEM. The second thing which was a revelation to us is that young people like you don't want to be sitting in a class and be lectured at. That's not what today's education is about. It is about the real-world experience that you gain when you're in college. College education, different from school education, is about applying knowledge, not just understanding the fundamentals. What do you do with the fundamentals? So part of that was what we heard, and the good thing in that was that that's what the market is demanding, and that's what Purdue is delivering on. So on both counts, we did sort of what is the requirement and where does Purdue deliver. On real-world experience, Purdue delivers very well to the external audience. Even prospects think that Purdue education is more than just getting through few lecture hours. And the third thing, this was an important point to the internal audience, specifically. Current students, current faculty said this to us in a resounding manner. And the point that they made was that the Purdue student is not here to just get a degree. There are colleges and schools, there are certain kinds of schools and colleges that you go just to get a degree and get a job. But that's not the end point of a Purdue student. They are lifelong learners. They want this learning to make an impact. So I think the word make a difference came up over and over again, whether it was in the qualitative part of it and as well as in the quantitative part as far as our internal audience is concerned. So this is what the internal audience is wanting to do, intending to do. So we said that has to be part of our mix because it differentiates the mindset of the Purdue student from the others. So we took all these three main findings and if you will, put it in something called a brand. I would say it's a brand hopper, and we developed a strategy based on that. This is a brand pyramid, and I again won't go into the details of this whole pyramid, but there are two things I will sort of point to over here. One is the brand vision. So any brand strategy has to be founded on something that's a brand vision. And the brand vision is, this particular brand vision is taken straight out of the strategic plan. And the reason being, you can't have the intent of the institution going in one direction and the whole marketing strategy going in a different direction. They have to be based, they have to converge at a point, they have to have the same starting point, so to speak. So that's the reason why the brand vision is directly from the strategic plan. And as you can see, the target audience has been defined as lifelong pursuers of knowledge driven to make a lasting contribution. That is the kind of people we attract. That's the kind of people we speak to. The final thing is, all of it boils up to one sort of key nugget that we develop. That becomes kind of the bedrock of any strategy. I don't know if you're familiar with brand propositions as such. Does anyone know Volvo's brand proposition? That's one that I most often get a, yes, it is so-and-so. Do you know? It's safety. So whatever they do, they can have the best, they can have the V6 engines, they'll have all this power and stuff, but what they will not compromise on is safety. Safety is at the core of what they stand for. Similarly, does anyone know what Nike's, this one is less well known, Nike's brand proposition is? Theirs is, you know? No, I thought I heard, I sort of smiled. Nike's is authentic athletic achievement. So how does that sort of, that of course takes in sort of results in the products that they develop. So their products are geared for athletic achievement, but it also reflects in certain marketing that they do. For example, you'll never find Nike with having, Cindy Crawford wearing a Nike shoe and modeling, or any, good-looking model. It's got to be someone who's athletic and a real athlete. It could be Michael Jordan, who's one of the greats in the world, or it could be I don't know how many of you remember that campaign. It was my time, so it's like I'm already dating myself here. But a 70-year-old man who actually does, a 4-mile jog every day wearing a Nike shoe. So that's the kind of person. Or it's a cancer survivor. It's a woman who's a cancer survivor and has gotten back into shape and gotten, taken hold of life. So these are real people, real stories. It's going to be authentic all the time. It's about authentic athletic achievement. So now if we sort of pull back and say, what is it that Purdue will stand for? What we came up with, taking those 3 points into consideration, was Purdue is going to be the catalyst that transforms lives. So, so let's see how that plays out. A student that comes in as an undergrad student, spends 4 years over here, goes out a transformed person through this experience that they gain. Many of you might be doing PhD. The ideas that you develop through that process transforms the body of knowledge that you are associated with or working with. So you take the institution itself, it has an effect in the economy of the state, and so therefore it has a transformative effect on the state of Indiana. So however you look at it, whether it's the body of knowledge, whether it's the people who are coming in and going through the doors at Purdue, or whether it's the institution itself changing in and around the state and the nation. So we feel that holds true in the business that we are in and what we stand for. So that's kind of at the heart of our strategy. There are two things that I will share. So we developed something from that. We developed something called a brand experience platform. So this is something that creative people work with. This is not necessarily something that you'll ever see in anything, but this is kind of a prism through which creative folks look at things, and I'm just sharing this with you so that you have a better understanding of the creative. So this is a brand experience platform, and to give you an example, Marcus Stewart's brand experience platform is Hampton's Beach House. So it has a look, it has a feel. Now, if I in contrast, I say Hawaiian Beach House, you immediately know that the colors are different, the look is different, the feel is different. It's a white beach cottage, you know, like pastel shades. And if you look at all Martha Stewart products, they hold true that brand experience platform. That's the way you, as a consumer, get the it's a multi-sensorial experience that you develop through this experience platform. So I'll just read out our verbal part of it. And we defined it as eureka. So you're driven to make sense of your surroundings and discover new possibilities. You reach out for help, and help suddenly seems within your grasp. Encouraged, you step forward. From this new vantage point, everything takes on a new perspective. You start making connections, and a sense of understanding unfolds. You feel a resurgence in energy and passion as the forms around you are illuminated, and you see how they fit together. And then, in an instant, it all becomes clear. Eureka. Like a light that has burst through, the rush pours over you. You feel your face light up and your flesh tingle as the excitement sweeps through your body. All around you, shapes, colors, details are now more clear, more vibrant, alive than you could have ever imagined. Your new understanding has brought an amazing transformation. This changes everything. The way you think, and more importantly, the way you move forward. You can't wait to see what unfolds when space-time comes your potential. So if you see transformation as part of the strategy, we as marketers have to develop material that delivers on that transformation. And we thought Eureka does that very well. That we can capture that Eureka moment. That moment when, you know, the fundamentals suddenly click in your mind and say, oh, I know now why this is this. Whether it's in science or in that, or whether in literature. Suddenly things fall in place. So it's capturing that moment when we use marketing material and stuff. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm going to go from the strategy directly to something we call the creative concept. Again, this, if I were to say one big mistake that, amongst other mistakes that we did while launching the campaign, one big mistake was this creative concept was never made public. This is usually something that the creative folks use and to develop their creative material. But I think this was good enough for us to share it at least with the internal audience. I'm going to just read it out for you because I just believe in the power of the concept. It all started with an insult. The more civilized institutions labeled Purdue's football team a bunch of blue-collar bullies. The comment was unenlightened, but the name stuck. Perhaps because there was some truth to it. Boilermakers are strong-willed, hardworking, skilled at not just the simple trades, but masters the often insurmountable challenge of making something out of nothing. This culture has gone unchanged on our campus, from our founding to today. Once we forged things from steel, now we build things even stronger, faster, smaller, more intricate, awe-inspiring, artful. We make things because we know that the idea alone isn't enough. It must be proven. It needs to be made real, whether it's a word on a page or a chemical reaction. What we make moves the work forward. We are Purdue, makers all. So that's the concept on which these things have been created. This is not yet out there, but this is a rendition of a billboard that we hope to have in the market. So the idea is that you're a boilermaker. That's not going to go away, but you're much more. And you have the right to define what kind of a maker you are. So you can be a poetry maker, or you can be a rocket maker. You can be a solution, math solution maker, or you can be, pictograph maker. You define yourself. So it's too large an institution for us to say we're just this one thing. We're much more than this one thing, but what sort of binds us together is a certain kind of spirit, and